Welcome to this explainer. Today we're unpacking a truly fascinating mystery. We're going to look at why our highly evolved, incredibly complex brains constantly fall for one very specific psychological trap. And it's a trap so deeply embedded in our biology and honestly so immensely powerful that it dictates billions of dollars in consumer spending every single year. It literally drives us to make totally irrational decisions without us even realizing it's happening in the moment. You know, we love to think we're perfectly logical creatures, carefully weighing the pros and cons of every choice we make. But as we're about to see, there's a hidden force overriding our logic every single day. Okay, let's dive right into this. I want you to picture a scenario. You're out shopping for a new watch, and you spot a classic timepiece. It costs exactly $100. It's simple, practical, elegant, and tells time perfectly. Now imagine finding that exact same watch, made in the exact same factory with the exact same materials, but it has a tiny tag attached that says, limited edition, only 500 exist. In the blink of an eye, a standard everyday watch transforms into this coveted artifact. Suddenly, thousands of people are obsessed with it. They'll literally line up outside stores for hours in the freezing cold, furiously outbid each other online, and gladly pay a massive premium just to secure it. But why? It brings us to a fundamental question. Is that limited edition watch actually more valuable, or is your brain just playing a massive trick on you? I mean, does a manufactured limit on production suddenly make the gears inside the watch work any better? No way. And that is exactly what we're going to figure out today as we peel back the layers of this illusion and explore the hidden mechanics of human desire. Section 1. The scarcity illusion, when rare equals valuable. This setup brilliantly illustrates a total glitch in human logic. The scarcity illusion is our natural tendency to believe that rare items are highly valuable, even when their actual practical usefulness is absolutely identical to common items. Think of it like a pen, right? A pen that writes perfectly smoothly is just a pen, but a rare pen that writes just as perfectly, suddenly it's treated like a national treasure. We completely blindly equate artificial scarcity with true worth. We just convince ourselves that because something is hard to get, it absolutely must be better. And we're surrounded by this illusion all the time. Think about limited edition sneaker drops. These shoes offer the exact same arch support, the same rubber soles, and the exact same foot protection as a standard pair you can just buy off the shelf anytime. Yet people will pitch tents on city sidewalks for 3 days just to get them. Or consider rare Pokemon cards. They're printed on the exact same cardboard with the exact same ink as the common ones. Yet one sells for pennies at a garage sale and the other is auctioned off for hundreds of thousands of dollars. We see it with luxury watches that have 10-year waiting lists despite doing nothing more than ticking seconds away, and collector coins that you can't even spend at a grocery store. In every single case, the physical function of the item hasn't changed one single bit. Only the availability has changed. Section 2. Ancient survival instincts, where the obsession began. To really understand this bizarre behavior, we have to transport ourselves back thousands and thousands of years. Early humans obviously didn't have supermarkets, global supply chains, or next-day delivery straight to their cave. They lived in an incredibly harsh, unforgiving environment where they had to fiercely compete and, let's be honest, often fight for scarce food, basic tools, and crucial resources. In that brutal world, if something was rare, like a vital freshwater source during a drought or a specific nutrient-dense food, it meant you absolutely needed it to stay alive. Scarcity wasn't some clever marketing gimmick back then. It was a very real matter of life and death. If you ignored scarce resources, well, you simply didn't survive to pass on your genes. Now, the really fascinating part here is how this bridges the massive gap between our ancient past and our present reality. Because of that constant ancient danger, our brains evolved over millennia to automatically treat rare things as high-priority survival opportunities. The instinct just became, if it's scarce, secure it immediately, period. Fast forward to today, and that identical modern instinct is still completely hardwired into our biology. The physical danger of starvation or freezing in the wilderness is thankfully gone for most of us. But when we see a notification that an item will be sold out soon on our smartphones, our ancient biological alarm bells ring just as loudly as they did out on the savannah. Section 3. The dopamine trap, the biological mechanism. Let's look at how this builds chemically inside your body. The very second an item becomes difficult to obtain, an invisible biological tripwire is crossed in your nervous system. Your brain instantly recognizes the scarcity and boom, it immediately releases dopamine. That's the powerful neurotransmitter heavily associated with reward, motivation, and pleasure. Every single time something is perceived as scarce, your brain gets a concentrated hit of this chemical. And this sudden flood of dopamine causes your excitement, your focus, and your physical desire to rapidly spike. It's so crucial to realize that this is not a rational, conscious thought process. It is a completely involuntary neurological chain reaction that bypasses your logic entirely and drives you straight to the checkout counter.
Section 4. The modern marketing machine. Exploiting the trap. Modern businesses, e-commerce giants, and digital marketers are fully aware of this exact chemical reaction, and they intentionally engineer artificial scarcity to trigger it on demand. When a brand launches an unexpected flash sale that's literally counting down by the second, or when you're booking a hotel and you see that little red text flashing, "Only 2 rooms left at this price," they aren't just politely informing you of their inventory management. Not at all. They're deploying a highly sophisticated tactic designed to spike your panic and your excitement. Strategies like exclusive limited drops and manufacturing notoriously long waiting lists aren't actually about signaling product quality. They're specifically designed to drive intense, feverish anticipation and cause lightning-fast sellouts. Essentially, the modern marketing machine is weaponizing your own survival biology right against your wallet.
So the crucial point here is how this completely shifts our fundamental motivation as consumers. We've moved totally away from the rational approach of buying an item simply because we actually need it for a practical purpose, and we've shifted heavily toward buying simply because we fear missing out. Modern consumers are largely driven by this intense FOMO, the fear of missing out. It creates this really powerful anxiety that if we don't act right this very second, someone else is going to claim our prize. And this dread of being left behind is perfectly engineered by brands who are tapping directly into our deeply rooted ancient biology.
Section 5. The psychology of status. Signaling success.
As highly social creatures, rare objects do something else absolutely critical for us. They act as a visual megaphone to signal our success, our power, and our uniqueness to the rest of the tribe. Evolutionarily speaking, displaying higher status meant you had better access to prime resources and mates. Today, owning something that very few people have satisfies a deep primal craving to feel important, special, and elevated above the crowd. We want to be recognized as individuals who can secure the unobtainable. And this psychological boost, it works wonders, even if the item's practical value hasn't changed one single bit from the mass-produced version. Ultimately, it's not about what the item physically does. It's entirely about what owning the item says about you to the rest of the world.
When you put the biology, the human history, the clever digital marketing, and the psychology of status all together, it leads us to one undeniable conclusion. Your brain simply wasn't designed for online shopping, digital carts, or navigating global commerce. It was designed for wilderness survival in a world of extreme physical limits. And that is exactly why rare objects feel absolutely irresistible to us, completely overriding our budgets and our better judgment. We're desperately trying to navigate the endless abundance of modern commerce using severely outdated biological hardware. So here is a practical, highly effective mental tool to take with you into the modern world. The next time you're browsing a website or walking through a store and you see those incredibly enticing, perfectly designed words, limited edition or low stock, force yourself to pause for just a single second. Look closely at the item, take a deep breath to break that dopamine loop, and ask yourself this really powerful question. Do I truly want and physically need this product for what it does, or is my ancient, survival-driven brain making the decision for me?
Because once you realize that your intense desire is often just being manufactured by clever framing, you really have to stop and wonder, what other daily choices in your life are actually just ancient instincts operating in disguise? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. If you want to keep unpacking the hidden psychology, the untold history, and the fascinating science behind why we do the things we do, be sure to subscribe for more deep dives into human behavior. See you next time.